If you like the video, please consider supporting us on Patreon. My friends, welcome to Pull My Focus Adventures in the World of Digital Filmmaking, where we bring you inside tips on making great digital video. Sometimes you have to leave Premiere Pro to do a thing, whether it's going to Photoshop to edit photos, or After Effects to composite, or Illustrator to work on EPS files and vector-based files. Today we're going to talk about going from Premiere Pro, bringing your audio into Audition, which is Adobe's full suite of amazing audio engineering tools, and then coming back into Premiere Pro. So you're going to move your audio editing work from Premiere into Audition. Now, I do want to mention, Premiere has a full set of wonderful tools to use to do your final mixes in your videos. And in fact, we've done an entire course, and it is about 4 hours of instruction on music and voiceovers and ambient sound and the entire workflow from capturing your sound all the way through to the final master to make your videos sound the way they should. It's available on pixelvalleystudio.com/courses. It's only $25, so grab a copy and make your videos sound the way they should. If you want to expand your audio horizons a little bit and start to use Adobe Audition, which is an incredible package of editing tools, I will show you how to do that right now. Okay, so the project I'm working on currently, I want to do the mastering work in Audition. There's just a couple of things that I need in Audition that not that Premiere doesn't give me, but it's a little easier to work with in Audition. So there's one or two things that you would probably need to do that I'll show you today. One is to work on an individual clip, an audio clip in Audition, or work on an entire sequence. So let's first take a look at the clip option. So here I am in a project that I'm currently working on, and I have all my clips on the timeline here. Everything's kind of laid out. So I have my vocals here on the Arian James track. There's another track here. There's sound effects. There's a car. And then there's some reference stuff down here I'm going to use later. And let's say I wanted to clean up this file here, this audio clip here. Let's take a listen real quick.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Pretty nice clip. Anyway, there's a lot of car noise there. Maybe if I want to get rid of the car noise in the background, let's find out. Well, one thing I can do is I can go to the File menu. Go to the Edit menu and come down to Edit in Adobe Audition right here. And you can see, since I have a clip selected, clip is an option, although there is also sequence, okay? You can click that, or you can right click on the clip itself and say Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. So let's do that. Let's click it. And what it does is it does a render and replace, which means it will non-destructively work on a duplicate of that file. So that keeps your originals safe and sound. And then it brings it into Audition. Did I do something wrong? I never do anything wrong in my videos. Okay, apparently it didn't bring it into Audition. Give me one sec. What the? Okay. Apparently it's a bug. Oh, look at that. Durin from Adobe. Thanks for your patience. The solution requires align changes for both Audition and Premiere under Catalina, which is what I'm running. Please watch for the next updates. Really, guys? During my video. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Well, it's a good thing I know a little bit about this process. So let's see. Okay, here we are. Now, if you're watching this in the future and this bug was fixed, then your clip is now editable in Audition. This is not the case here. So let's see, what do we do if that happens? Well, since we know a render and replace basically makes a copy and then puts it in the same directory, we can basically find this file. So this is the rendered and replaced file now. And I'm going to do a reveal in Finder. All right, and there's a way to do this in Windows also where you can find it using the File Explorer. And once I do a reveal in Finder, I see it's right here. This extracted, and it usually labels it as extracted. So here's what we can do. We can go into Audition and we can open the file directly. So I'm going to say open, and here's a pro tip. Instead of me navigating all the way to the file, watch this. I have the open dialog box open, right? And I'm going to bring my Finder box right here, which I found the file in. If I just take this file and drag it to the open dialog, bingo. It's highlighted and ready to be opened. Boom. That's a little pro tip that actually works with folders also. So if you have an open requester and you have a Finder window that has a folder of the stuff, if you drag the folder in, it'll open the folder in the requester. That'll speed up your process a little bit. You can also go to recent files in the Finder, but I found that also to be handy. Okay, here we are. We are in Adobe Audition, which should have, well, you know. Okay, let's say we want to do something. Now, the stuff I'm going to do right now is kind of beyond the scope of this video. This video is all about just bringing it into Audition and coming back. So forgive me if I move a little quicker, but I'm going to do a little noise reduction. So I'm going to go to Effects. And let's do noise reduction, and let's just do adaptive noise reduction. And that's not to say that doesn't exist in Premiere. It's just an example of something you might want to do. All right, so we're going to apply light noise reduction from this box here. We have a bunch of options. Heavy, light. We're going to say light, and we're going to hit apply. Boom. Now all the car noise is reduced, and now we end up with this.
Yep, it's pretty nice.
Pretty good. Now, it doesn't immediately show up in Premiere, okay? Remember, this is a duplicate of the file, of our original file. Our original file is safe, but it won't show up here until we save in Audition. So if I go to File and hit Save, now it's saved to the hard drive. When I go to Premiere, boop, it pops in the new version, and now we have this.
Yep. Pretty nice.
There you go. So that's how you would work on a single clip. Now I can go back into Audition and do some more work. As long as I hit save, it will show up in Premiere. That's one way. I'm going to undo my way back to my original file. Or you can right click. Let's do this. You can right click on the file and say restore unrendered, which will bring back your original not touched file. You can do either one. I'm just going to undo my way back. Okay. The other way to do this is to actually work on the entire sequence. And I'm going to do that for this project because doing clip by clip is a little tough when you're dealing with an entire sequence. Once again, we're going to have the sequence selected here in the timeline window. We're going to go to File. I'm sorry. That's the trick. It's not File. It's Edit. If you're looking for it in File, you're looking in the wrong place. Edit in Adobe Audition, and we're going to use the sequence option. Now, when I hit sequence, you could say, hey, Manu, yes, why don't you just import the Premiere sequence, the Premiere project into Audition, because Audition will recognize the project. One important distinction between this method of doing it and that method is that method, when you just pull in a project right into Audition, you're going to be working on your original files. So I rather do this way because this allows me, it'll create copies of all the files. I won't be working on my original files. And it's a way more flexible workflow than just bringing it into Audition. All right? Okay, here we are in Adobe Audition. We have this beautiful dialog box. What's the name? Well, I'll keep the name the same, or sometimes you can just name it something else. I can go, this is sound, okay? And what this name is it's going to be the name of a Premiere Pro project. All this is doing is saving a Premiere Pro project with some extra settings that Audition will recognize when it pulls it in through the dynamic link. If it's working, which it's not. Anyway, the path is where it's going to save this new project. Okay. Our selection will keep on entire sequence. You can set an in and out point also, which will only render that. The video we're going to send through dynamic link. I can also just choose to render the video, or I can say no video at all. I'm going to keep the video in dynamic link because that's the most flexible. Audio handles means how much audio from the beginning back through time to the end forwards in time that you want to keep on each clip. So every clip right now is going to be extracted. And this will say, extract the clip, but also give me a second before and a second after. And if you find a reason you need 10 seconds before and 10 seconds after, if you want to drag the handles a little more, if you want to get a little more leeway, then go with that. Go say 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Right now it's going to be 1 second, which means I can drag out 1 second from the beginning or the end of the file. Now for this, transfer information to Audition, audio clip effects and audio track effects. Remember, you have two different types of effects you can apply. You can apply it to the clip level or you can apply it to the track level. And that stuff also gets explained in my course that you could buy for $25. What a deal! Anyway, so at the clip level, you can transfer settings. It'll normally show up like this. Transfer settings. So it means whatever settings that Audition understands that Premiere sets, it will transfer the settings and everybody's happy. Anything else, you can select render clips with non-transferable effects, which means if there's something that Premiere knows that Audition doesn't know how to do, then Premiere is going to render it into the file, bake it into the file so that Audition doesn't have to guess. Okay, so that's kind of baking it into the file. And then there's render all, which means just render everything, bake everything in. As soon as it goes into Audition, just bake it in. And then there's remove all. Okay, that's clip level. Also, the track level, you have the same thing. You basically only have remove all. And pan and volume information means it will take, if you set any keyframes in the volume in Premiere, it will respect that and bring it into Audition. So Audition will keep the same keyframes of volume or panning and stuff like that. And that's about it. So for me, I'm going to say remove all because I want a very clean, I want all my kind of audio to be clean and ready to be processed. So I don't want to bring in any multiband compressors or high pass filters or anything. I just want the raw audio. And I'm going to hit OK. And what it's doing is preparing the sequence data. It's preparing a Premiere file that's going to be imported via dynamic link into Adobe Audition. Never fear. I know how this stuff works. Okay, so we said it created a Premiere file, and it created the Premiere file inside your project folder. In fact, it created another folder. If you went with the defaults, it created another folder inside your Premiere project. Here's my project folder, and there's this interesting folder here called Adobe Audition Interchange. It basically created that folder, and inside there lives the project that it exported for import into Adobe Audition. Now, once again, if you're in the future and this bug is fixed, you're already inside the project right now. But since we're working through some bugs during my video, let's do this way. I'm going to go in and you can see all the extracted audio that it created. And here is a Premiere Pro project. So if I say open this guy, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go File, Open once again. I'm using the same trick as before. Yep. Open. It opens the project. And, well, since everything's failing, we might as well look at all the warnings. And this is the kind of situation that you'll hit. Not every day is going to be roses and fairy things when you're working with this kind of stuff. So this is good. I'm showing you another error. This basically means, this is saying the channel volume effect has been converted to amplify in the clip effects wrap. It means I saw an effect, I didn't know how to deal with it, but it looks like volume, so I'm going to convert it to amplify. And I'll show you how you can just get rid of that if you want. But it's basically, it's just telling you, hey, I found something that I might not be able to deal with, just to let you know. Let's hit OK, and bingo. Here we are in Adobe Audition, ready to work on our audio. As you can tell, all the track names are the same: Ari, James, Ari plus James, sound effects, car, all that other stuff. And this video here is actually dynamically linked to our Premiere Pro video. So it didn't render this. It's actually, it's playing it based on what was in the sequence. Okay, I can change the scaling to this, and I can do all kinds of neat things here. All right. Now, let's address that amplify thing, that little warning. If you notice, this clip here has a little effect on it now. The clip has effects applied. If I click on this guy, I can see that it applied an amplify to it. I can keep that, but that was one of the clips that it was warning me about. I can keep that, or I can just click amplify, hit delete, and get rid of it there. And everybody's happy. Now, let's say we've done all the work we need to do inside of Audition. Like I said, working in Audition right now is beyond the scope of this video, so we're going to keep it simple. Now we have to go back into Premiere. There's two ways for me to do this, and they're both basically the same. So I'm going to go to Multitrack and go to Export to Adobe Premiere Pro. Once we choose that, it's going to say, okay, what's the file name? And this is a file name of an XML file. Okay, this is not the file name of a project now. This is the file name of an XML file with information that Premiere will use to only import the audio that we've created. And we're going to say, we can say either export each track as a stem or do an interleave mix down to mono, stereo, or 5.1. Now, a stem you can equate to just the clips, but it's rendered audio on the timeline of just the bits and pieces. Let's take a look at what I mean. So I'm going to export each as a stem, and I'm going to hit export, and I'm using the open in Adobe Premiere Pro option, which I'm pretty sure is not going to work right now, but that's okay. As you can see, it's generating new audio, and it opened it in Premiere. No, it didn't. It's still broken, but here's how to get around it. Like I said, it created an XML file. Didn't create a project, created an XML file. Where's that XML file? In the same location that I told it to be, or it's going to be in the project folder. So let's do an import. I'm going to go Command I, which is my import option. And as we can tell, here is an XML. This is the XML file that it created for us. Okay, so I'm going to say import that XML file. Once it does that, boom, you notice we have something different than our usual import. It's saying copy active sequence to new audio track or a track that already exists in our sequence. I'm going to go ahead and say new audio track and watch what happens. I hit OK. If we zoom this up, right at the bottom, here, let's shrink these down. I'm going to shrink all these guys down. Right at the bottom, we see all these are called stems. And these are, every clip gets its own full line of audio, but only the sections that are needed. Okay, so this allows you to move, this allows you to do some more processing, after the fact. Sometimes you want to deliver your file as stems to someone else so they can manipulate things even further. So this is one way to do it. As you can tell, at this point, I can mute every track that I was working on. It's not going to delete your other tracks. It's never going to be destructive. It's always going to be constructive. And here we go.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am.
See that? That's been processed exactly the same way.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am.
That was in Audition. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is, if we're back in Audition, we can go to 'Export to Adobe Premiere Pro, and we can say mix down the session to, say, a stereo file or a 5.1 file. I can do both. I'm going to do stereo file. Same procedure. It's going to let us export it. I'm going to say yes to overwrite the other stuff because I already did it. And then if the bug is fixed, it would just bring up the dialog that says, what track do I put this on? But it's not fixed, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to go import the XML, copy active sequence 2, I say new track, and there we go. Now I only have one mixed wave file or mixed audio file with all the audio mixed down already the way I want it. With all the audio. Right, there's our sound effects. There's our driving in the car.
Nice day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
And there you have it. So a couple of ways to bring in the audio from Premiere back to Audition, back to Premiere. When you're working in Audition, make sure you save. Do a save so that, now you have an Audition project that has the ability to take the audio back to Premiere. So you want to do saves. Also, if you ever need to round trip again, just do that same procedure. Edit, and then export to Adobe Audition, either the clip or the sequence, and there you have it. Sometimes things just don't work out as planned. Now, I knew this was broken when I started this video, but I decided to go on ahead anyway, because if I'm experiencing it, you will probably experience it at some point. I want you guys to be prepared for stuff like this so you're not stuck, so you can continue working until things get fixed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out pullmyfocus.tv for all of our companion articles to these videos. Once again, don't forget our courses, pixelvalleystudio.com/courses to buy my course, about 4 hours worth of audio engineering in Premiere Pro to make your video sound amazing. You'll be doing us a great favor. It's $25. It's all yours. And with that, see you next time. What else could possibly break while I'm doing a video? Right. Skylar's being loud. Hey, I'm making a video!